Hello, hi everyone. This is Fiorella here from Cusco. I am doing this masterclass about Cacao and Coca, or the facilitator program, to know the combination with or the unique blend between Coca and Cacao that is very special and unique from this place, in this area from Cusco. So right now we're in the showroom of Cacao. This is the ceremonial cacao brand that I founded along with a project that promotes the reawakening of the use of cacao in a more responsible, conscious, and ritualistic way. This is the best way I can explain the holistic approach that I believe this brand um, follows. And so I am going to share with you today the facilitator course that I wrote down some months ago, almost a year ago, and I am starting to share it. This is also part of the experience for the retreats that will be happening in 2025. And yeah, a lot of knowledge is written in this course, which has 11 chapters, and I'm going to do my best to really sum them up here on this masterclass that we lovely created. Me and Eva, we created our own masterclasses to share with you as an additional bonus to the subscribers. So I'm really happy for this opportunity and for this connection and developing of a community of women around the world that work with cacao, has a relationship with this plant. So yeah, welcome officially again. There is Cacao. This is the name comes from the region that I've been working with, which is in the jungle area of Cusco, more the forest side. I think Cusco is mostly known for the mountains, yes, but the region where this variety of cacao grows, it's just crossing this mountain chain. So it's quite rich. I'm going to in the next chapters I'm going to enter more into the details, but I wanted to start by explaining a little bit of my journey and a little bit of how this name came to me, because there's so many questions and sometimes I take it for granted that everybody would remember or just know this, but it's actually not this case. So I started working with cacao about 5 years ago. I was very curious to know more about the aspect of ceremonies and rituals, and so I found them here, but they were led by foreigners actually. They were not led by indigenous local people. And so I'm Peruvian, and I said, okay, this is a bit weird, but it was great because this curiosity led me to really go to the place of origin of to the agricultures, to the cultivations, to so many places until now that I'm so grateful for. And this is how I discover my passion for cacao, but also my passion and dedication for this specific region where this specific genotype of cacao grows, which is called the Chuncho Teobroma cacao, no, or the golden cacao that is originally from the region of the forest in Cusco. And so I've been working like on and off, going there constantly. Also lived there for a period of time, some almost about some months, and in like this personal journey, I developed like a sense to search for something. Yeah, I was searching like the real originality of this. Like I was so amazed to find probably like the shaman, the original shaman of cacao in this region there must be, or the original healer. But the truth is that it doesn't exist. It does not exist really like this ancient woman or man of cacao that will teach me and guide me in her or his tradition how to hold the ceremony as their ancestors specifically did. And so it's good. It's fine. But then I really connected to the lands, to the agricultures, to the people there, to the story, and of course the taste, the aroma. It was just very special to me, to my heart. And within all these journeys, one day I just came across, okay, besides that, I felt to build something because I felt like, okay, a specific approach to cacao is missing to remember the use of ceremonial cacao, or the use of cacao in rituals, and that we have so much history and so much still cultural practice regarding rituals and activations and initiation in spirituality. And so what about cacao, right? It cannot be only harvested to produce beans and sell them to create chocolate. Like, I don't feel so. I feel the strong call to an action to really create a new path. So this is how Cacao came. And so I had a dream one day. It's very easy. The story is actually very easy. I woke up and I had this like dream, and remembering that I heard this name, right? And so I was like writing down in my agenda, and I suddenly, it was like a complete clear manifestation. I need to do this project, this tangibilization. I'm going to speak in Spanish when I don't remember the word in English. Hacer algo tangible, ¿no? De un estado imaginario, onírico, ideal. Entonces, so I decided to, start creating this brand project, and I developed this line for what is the ceremonial cacao. One of my missions also in the beginning was to really be able to visualize through the designs and also honor the patterns of these indigenous communities, no? And so, this is where I start with. This is my personal journey, and I am still in love, and I continue learning about this year after year. It's an endless world. It's so rich, it's so abundant, and every year now I connect with new different women, with more people involved here. Personally, I love the connection with women because yes, we agree that this plant has a more sacred feminine energy related to the earth. Earth is connected to femininity, or to a woman figure in many indigenous cosmologies along South America and also Middle America. So it feels quite organic to be weaving more creations with women that also have a connection with cacao plant in different fields, from industry to artistry to business. So here I am, and I'm going to start now with the chapters. First, I'm going to talk about a little bit of the history in Peru related to cacao. It's like this course is divided in 11 chapters, and kind of like these 11 chapters are divided in 3 episodes each, okay? So the first one is the first episode that involves the first 3 chapters are related to the history and the varieties of cacao that exist here in Peru, and specifically then the focus goes to the golden cacao that is being harvested here, okay, and the one we work with mainly. Now we're open to slowly working with others, such as the one that grows in the north of Peru in Jaén, which is connected to the origin of cacao in history. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that later. And then we'll unfold into what the course has, like what is cacao, what is a ritual, what is cacao in a ritual, what is a ceremonial cacao, what is a cacao ceremony. All these terms that create sometimes confusion in the modern times, because really I know many people say this is a new age this is a new age trend or fashion, and it might be like the concepts for marketing could be leading to misunderstandings, but like the idea of these cacao summits or these events or these lives or these conversations are to really open the dialogue and clarify certain aspects that experts such as me or Eva or more women in the community know, because we work or have worked closer to the origin of place, okay? And then, I will talk about a little bit more, not really in clear or big detail, but I'll talk about more about the preparations, how to hold a ritual, the elements also of the Andean cosmology, and also some Amazon cosmology. Um, then my own personal experience on traditional shamanism or traditional experiences that I had with elders from the communities from the Amazon and the Andean. And finally, how really to hold space to be a facilitator wherever you are in the world, because there are certain guidelines that with practice you will activate in your life, and then you will feel the call to share, in a conscious way. So at the end, I will share also some parts of responsibility that we have doing this, no? And and then finally talk about also what is cacao as a sacred food and what is cacao as a superfood. So I'm going to do my best to really follow the guideline, but this is what will come to the masterclass. Okay. So first, we have the chapter or history in Peru about cacao, and I want to say that Peru is the country that has the most biodiversity of cacao in its territory. And here I just mentioned Peru, but I don't really want to address those divisions between countries. I would say in general, South American territory holds the most biodiversity on original genotypes of cacao. Okay, thanks to the findings on 2014 in North Peru in the region of Jaén, in the archaeological site called Monte Grande by Quirino Olivera, that is the archaeologist. Then the history of cacao and chocolate, let's call it as well like this because it also affects the chocolate industry, completely changed. Okay, so before this finding, and again, I'm not trying to create divisions, I just want to address a fact that is important to acknowledge, okay? And I also want to start saying that it's really important to, when someone wants to connect with a plant or a practice that is new to them, it's always good to study, yeah? Both study and practice create this embodiment that we want to have in order to start sharing something in our circles, but that has an essence, that has a coherence, okay? So coming back to the origin of cacao in Peru, actually in the world, this vestige that he found, so he, found this archaeological site, and then he found this piece of cacao or beverage or, um, yeah, many said it's part of a beverage, many said it's just the skin of cacao, but it's an element related to cacao. But then it dates to more than 5,000 years ago. So, and furthermore, the tomb where he finds this is connected to a woman, or has like this spiral shape, and this spiral shape symbolizes in many traditions the connection to femininity. Okay, so apparently it belonged to a woman or to a woman priest. Okay, and so the findings and the pictures are really, really impressive. I would suggest for you to Google them and find them and get inspiration out from this because it's quite unique. Like the first time I found it, I was like super amazed by the fact that the cacao is connected to a woman. Okay, and in traditions, in practice, like we're also again coming back in the years, like okay, from 5,000 years ago, which is like 3,500 years before Christ, this civilization, Monte Grande or Chinchipe Marañón, is a culture that it's in between the borders, la frontera, from Peru and Ecuador. No, this civilization developed there, and so this meant that they already started to know how to domesticate the cacao tree, how to harvest it, how to select also the best fruit, and to continue their agriculture process, right? But I want to again be clear on understanding that we don't have um, real facts as the glyphos in the Mayans to create a comparison from the civilizations or groups here that practice cacao in rituals like with so many elements that many people wonders, how to hold a real ceremony of cacao. We need fire, we need this. So we don't actually yet. Maybe we will find in the future. Maybe. But for the moment, we haven't. Okay, but we do find vestiges, we do find indicios, no? That yeah, people practice rituals for many years. Like those rituals were very connected to nature elements. So nature is inside our hearts, it's inside our lives, it's inside our bodies. It's like there's no separation between us and the reality outside. Or this is how what we receive from the heritage of our ancient civilizations. Okay, so we have the Monte Grande or Chinchipe Marañón, and then we go. I'm going to just quickly say where the cacao had a presence in the Peruvian ancient civilization. So we have in the north of Peru the Lambayeque, the Chavin. After that, I mean, one of the most important ancient civilizations are the Chavin, no, and they have these ceramics that also have representations of the cacao fruit. So this gives already a signal. Okay, so cacao was precious to this group, no, to this community. Okay, and then it passed through the Moche. The Moche is about so the Chavin started the civilization about 1,500 years before Christ, ended around the 500 years before Christ. Then we have another civilization, the Moche, no, that is about 100 years after Christ, where we also find this ritual ceramic related to cacao. And so this means they used it before the Chavin. Even there was a Culpisnique. So this is all north in Peru between the Andean and the coast. Okay. Then we have also the Sican culture about 800 and 1400 years after Christ. The Amazon tribe, though, in parallel. So the Amazon is really still a place of mystery for so many investigations and facts in history. Okay, but Tello is an historian as well. He has an hypothesis that the humanity, at least in the region of South America, started in the Amazon. Okay, so whereas all these civilizations existed, the Amazon still existed, and most likely the tribes that some of them are still alive have maintained their existence. And so for the for the places where the cacao grows, it needs humidity, yeah, and it needs usually a tropical weather. So like it cannot grow in coldness as the altitude of the mountains. So it specifically needs these microclimates who is more aligned to the natural climate of the Amazon. Therefore, you can understand that the original genotypes or families of cacao come really from the Amazon forest mainly. Okay, it is believed so. Okay, and then the last civilization that we have is one of the most important before the Inca civilization is the Tiahuanaco, very high in altitude near Puno, here at South Cusco. And after that comes the Huaris, and after that the ancient Inca. No? And the Inca civilization were the responsible to really expand their empire in such a long territory. And they reached the Amazon area, but they never really governed on the Amazon tribes or on the Amazon fields because it's huge and it's such a different region. It's very wild. But they reach out to this valley, Quillabamba, um, where we have the golden genotype of cacao, the one we work with, the golden cacao from Cusco, the chuncho cacao um, from the Machikenga. So apparently it's not the Inca that they collected the seeds. This genotype of cacao, okay, we're passing now specifically to talk about the chuncho cacao. It's believed to have been domesticated by the Machikenga tribe because we find this tribe still until nowadays, this community still until nowadays, you can visit them. And also the region where they live is just in between the Amazon and the forests, okay, south near Peru. South Cusco. South Peru, actually not, North Cusco, okay? And so apparently this genotype has about, let's see, it's 2,000 years, 2,000 years, a little bit more, 1,100 years before Christ. It is believed that this wild cacao, known as chuncho, existed from that time. Specific details cannot be pronounced, and within the chuncho family of cacao, there is many different varieties. Okay, so we need to understand. I'm going to talk about further or later about the families of cacao, the main families, and then we will dive in a little bit, not really deeply, into the other varieties under these four main families. Okay, but it's really important to address this subject about this information, because when people nowadays work with cacao and they call it ceremonial, they just really don't know where their cacao comes from, or the varieties, the real agriculture behind this, no? And one of the main goals that we have as conscious brands or as conscious businesses that share cacao for this use, for this ritual use, is to address the traceability of the final product. Okay, why? Because the industry of chocolate is huge, powerful, and really multimillionaire. And so they have cared little in the past 100 years to preserve the biodiversity of the original cacao beans, and have instead preferred to practice with a modified or certain modified cacao genotypes to satisfy the demand of this industry, which is mainly connected to provide you food that is actually not food, it's like candies, right? Chocolate. It's it's, if it's well done and it's well made, I'm sure it's a great superfood. But I don't believe this is the general proposition or intention of a big industry of chocolate. Okay, and so this demand to create an agriculture of cacaos that are modified, it just breaks the natural cycle of earth, breaks cultural beliefs, cosmologies, breaks so many things in order to what, right? To live in this fast economy. And so all the persons nowadays that are starting to work with cacao, it's really important to have a perspective beyond, okay, than just saying, okay, this is cacao. No, this is cacao from which region, okay, from which seed, from which genotype, and what taste it has, to which families grow this, you know? And and this creates an education, and valuable information in our consumers and in ourselves mainly. And so this is an aspect that I feel a lot of passion for. Okay, now slowly we're going to pass to The varieties of cacao, and the production in Peru nowadays, well, I mentioned some of these before. There are many, many varieties of cacao, like native varieties of cacao in Peru, more than 100 listed for sure. Okay, and these varieties could be connected to small production, to a medium production, oh, I'm sorry, but not as a, a big amount to really satisfy that industry demand. We have, so it's like funny to select the facts, but I'm going to share this with you. Peru exports around 65,000 tons of cacao beans each year, and it's the second country that produces and exports organic cacao that is certified. Okay, so this is positive for us. Also, something that Eric Thomas, he is a investigator, mentions about the cacao is that probably, actually, the cacao tree, not the fruit or the plant generally, existed about 9 million years ago. Okay, but the humans are the ones who really played a role in creating the diversity of cacao genotypes. And apparently, the humans, according to his investigations, interacted with cacao about 30,000 years ago. Okay? Okay. And then, what else that we have here? The civilizations of cacao in these ancient civilizations that I was talking to you about, in the Incas, in the Waris, in the Moche, in the Chavin, and in Monte Grande Jaén. Of course, this that because they were found, these ceramic pieces were found in ritualistic spaces or in ritualistic sites or in ritualistic ways as well. This is how we understand cacao had a special presence in their lives. Therefore, it meant something beyond just than the daily life. Okay, so it's an important deity, and it also has a very closer connection with gold. And gold was the element here. Is well was sometimes it still is, but it was sacred. It was believed. I mean, it's connected to the sun strongly under the Inca cosmology, under the Inca vision. But we have found pieces before the Incas, like in Moche and Sican, these beautiful collards made of gold that had the shape of cacao, these beautiful vessels that had so many cacaos encrusted in them. In El Señor El Señor de Zipan, this king, and in this Lambayeque culture, there is a stack, una estaca que tiene él, like a tube, right? And on top of this stick, not tube, the stick, there's apparently a fruit of cacao in gold, and he's wearing like this. No? So, and I mean, the leader or the kingdom of a civilization wearing this already communicates the importance of the cacao plant to their understandings. Okay, so yeah, of course, the cacao has a strong presence already then, like 2,000, 3,000 years ago. Okay, and this ritual ceramic exists to remember us the importance of this plant, and therefore the importance that this plant can have in our lives. Okay? Okay, so coming back to the question of the genetic groups of cacao, I'm going to go there really quickly to just be able to have more profundization on the other subjects. The four genetic groups of cacao, written again by Thomas Ever differs a little bit, but Philippe Lachenot wrote this in 1997 under an investigation that was kind of used for a more universal conventionality to start categorizing cacaos. But now, in the past 10 years, has changed mainly because of the studies and continuous investigation that develops almost every day around cacao, because there is so much biodiversity in the Amazon parts, and it's so sometimes hard to really access these places that investigations have not really unfolded. And now that cacao is taking more and more presence, really more and more investigators want to come and do more tests, which is amazing. It's really great. It's like the world of cacao is going to have, I'm sure for this, like a complete new approach in the next decade and more after this. Okay, but we also threaten the cacao if we misuse it. So we have a responsibility here to be the best also in connecting with good sides of information. Okay, so Philippe Lachenot classified cacao in 4 families, in 4 genetic groups. Okay, in the past he said that it's cacao criollo, cacao forastero, cacao nacional, or cacao trinitario. Okay, so mainly you have heard probably cacao criollo, cacao forastero, cacao trinitario. Okay, and the cacao criollo comes to South America, the forastero as well, and the trinitario is mainly related to the Middle America, mainly to Costa Rica territory. Okay, but these are just big families of cacao trees. Okay, this is just a general approach, but it doesn't mean all the cacaos that you find are related to these 4 families. Okay, there is also a cacao nacional, that is a leaf that grow in Ecuador territory, what is known as Ecuador territory nowadays. And after or under these 4 families of cacaos, then they come the others, the mixes, the hybrids, the how do you say, las mezclas, ¿no? Como, okay, cojo un criollo, forastero, el humano, no? The human comes, the person comes, and they just start to create a mixing and finding also new genotypes, or creating their own genetic group as well to, I don't know, get better cacaos, more rich. The thing, what happens when, well, this is something I learned by a genetista of cacao, yeah, a person that was researching the genome of cacao in laboratory in this Institute of Investigation, is that you can lose, or you most probably lose eventually, not only the sustainability of this connection, hybridization mixture of one cacao and the other, but also you will, like the aroma and the colors and the notes will get lost in time. Okay, but also we face nowadays another factor that I don't think is considered with that. It's like the fast climate change. Right now, this year we have a huge, immense fire in the Amazon, which nobody predicted that. This year, the value of cacao grew up, the scarcity in the production of Africa. So, all these facts really create such a change in all the original types of cacao beans, and some of them die. Probably, I mean, maybe after all this forest fire, probably a lot of original cacao varieties have died. And but yeah, so these 4 genetic groups, forastero, criollo, nacional, y trinitario, they are like umbrellas, okay, to just classify cacao. But under these terms, or under these categories and families, we find the cacaos that are native, or aside actually. So instead of calling them a criollo, we will find one from the Braem, or from the from Jaén, from For example, el cacao blanco de Piura, no, North Peru. What is that? How you classify into one family? No, that it has like a original or a root of originality in the past. So this is mostly the families of native cacaos. And so why is the big importance of working with a native cacao? In terms of ceremonies, or in terms of ceremonial cacao, in terms of that field of more holistic approach to cacao and also to life, there's many information here. Yeah, you not only have a much more richer, rich, como más rico el sabor, not only receive this, but energetically, it's completely different to find and to work with a cacao that has existed for so many years. It has like the inner genetic codes are completely different than one that has been kind of like transported from this region to the other to just produce cacao rather than, okay, this is a polyculture agriculture, here always grew, as in Kiabambas, the region where cacao grows. The cacao here is actually the beautiful pattern that we have now that I was going to present later, because it has like a different sense. It hides a different energy. The polyculture, you find coffee, coca, oranges, lemons, lucuma, guanabana, so all these fruits, and one of them is cacao. It's like all these different notes, that this biodiversity creates. But once you just focus on, okay, Forastero actually grows better, and then the Cacao Trinitario family also, I'm going to take this into my land. Yeah, great. I mean, you can have and only grow this without the presence of other elements. You probably will cultivate and harvest cacao, but like how rich it is in essence, right? This is what I personally believe original bean of cacao and a native cacao stands for as well, for previous persons probably who have connected with these original plants. And I refer to original tribes or small communities, right, that live around these natural trees. Okay, so in Peru, I'm going to just say some of them. There's the cacao chuncho, grows in the Cusco region. There's the cacao blanco from Piura in North Peru. There's the cacao marañón that grows in Jaén. There's the cacao montaña, which is actually very nice, the Junín region. And there's the cacao nacional, North Peru, again in Cajamarca. And I can give you a list of of detailed types that grows in Peru if you join the course that I'm doing. And then to just end with this discussion about families of cacao, you have the cacao acriollado, that is actually like a blend, no, or criollo. But what I wanted to point directly is the cacao CCN51, CCN51 is the cacao híbrido or hybrid cacao that is vastly known in all South America, like from Peru to Ecuador to Colombia to Venezuela to Brazil as well. Like this cacao, it's a modified cacao, it's a hybrid cacao, and it is used for the high demands of these big chocolate industries. Okay, something we don't want to, because they grow better, like in terms of faster, less disease, more easy to maintain, less money to invest on the maintenance. Then it threatens the families of agricultors that have in their lands the original business to just start cultivating this because of the demand of being paid for this, okay, of the volume, I mean. Okay, so this is something to acknowledge, to really take into consideration, okay? Okay. So the golden chuncho cacao, the beautiful cacao from Cusco, it's just so unique in all the varieties, and I'm so in love with, because the region where it grows It's beautiful. Like you have this sacred river that goes along all the valley of Cusco. It grows in altitude actually, about 500 to 1,500 meters above sea level. The harvest period of this cacao, for example, only goes from December to March, naturally, like or originally, right? It's not that it's like this is also the natural law of agriculture, not the cycles of natural, yeah, natural agriculture and the calendar, right, of agriculture as well. So yeah, this is just the natural cycle. There's nothing else to demand, and really, it's on our responsibility to remember as humans to respect these natural laws. That's it. And most of the variety of native cacaos will have their own cycle of life, and so they should be respected for. But this is really the responsibility of one who started to dedicate to work with one cacao variety or many. Okay, as I previously said, the community that domesticated is called Machigenga. About the Machigenga inhabited this territory already 300 years before Christ. It's a small indigenous group that nowadays still exists. Um, just a fact for you to have a better context about Peru. The Amazon, only in the Peruvian territory, holds more than the has more than the 60% of native languages that we speak in all the territory. Okay, so there are the small tribes for each part of the regions of the Amazon. I try to connect this with the different fields that and cacao, or where cacao could grow. Okay, just talking about one, which is the golden cacao chuncho, the Machigenga tribe, and this side of planet Earth here in Cusco. Um, so what is chuncho? Chuncho means in Quechua Aymara um, something that is shy or also wild. Has these two meanings. Okay, the Kiabamba is the region where this grows, and within Kiabamba you find, what is Kiabamba? Actually, the Kiabamba is the place of the moon in Quechua. In the Quechua is the indigenous language of the Andeans, more connected to the Andean part, but there is also spoken here in this region. And along this valley you find the Vilcanota River or Vilcamayo, which is the sacred river. Okay, so already in its original terminology, it has this connection to the moon, to the water, no? So all this beautiful, it's beautiful, the description of the surroundings where this cacao tree grows. And this beauty impacts, of course, the harvest of this genotype of cacao. So other regions within Quillabamba, you find smaller regions, and the cacao we produce for Caucawa comes mainly from Echarati, Quimbiri, Kiteni, Coribeni, Cabasciato, Queyo Una, and Coshireni. And where you can go farther and farther, and then you actually can reach the Amazon River that connects you to really the Amazon virgin jungle. Okay, so what is the process of cultivation, selection, and roast of this cacao paste is also part of the course, because I would like to address this so you really know how a cacao paste is produced, and now how this paste also becomes ceremonial, and then how can you implement these tools and knowledge into your ceremonial space or into your own life, right? As an activator, facilitator of cacao, and in this case, coca. So before coming into the process of cultivation, how do you cultivate? I have here my little cacao pot made in ceramic with the beans, and then we have the cacao paste, which is a block of cacao, also here in one flow. Presentation is a lot more bigger, but powerful. Okay, before passing that, just to also open a bit more the context um, of cacao and coca specifically, of cacao in Cusco specifically, this sacred ancient presence or energy around this cacao is that about 30 years ago, approximately, or more, maybe 40, um, the plantations of coca in the south of Peru, the south region close to the jungle or forest region in Peru, they started to propose a law in which the coca plantations were, because of narco traffic, they were threatened by narco traffic, were should be replaced by cacao plantations. Okay, and before that, coca and the coca plants, leaves, and the cacao plants and fruits really need until nowadays the same climate, okay, the same weather. They're really aligned from its place of origin. Like I have had the chance to see cacao next to coca leaves growing up together, and already by then I felt this ancient connection, synergy, okay, between them. And just saying this now, because one of the main objectives of this course is the implementation, no, of rituals, mainly in coca, and also could be in other plants, to the cacao field or to the cacao practice. Yeah, but why? Because I was saying in the beginning, there is no shaman original from cacao that would specifically tell you this is how we did it like 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. This is the same recipe. No, but you can learn still nowadays a lot from the embodiment and understanding of rituals and preservation of culture from the use of the coca leaves within indigenous communities, as the Quero nation as the best example. And you can apply this to cacao as an inspiration, as a tool of inspiration. But then we need to come back again to the place of origin of the cultivation of the harvest, okay? This is always important. Always important to come back to the origin. How is a cacao tree? How is a cacao fruit? How is a cacao flower? What they need, what climate they need, how do they look like? You know, be the cacao tree, for example, an ancient cacao tree, you can still find over 100 years cacao tree that has a height of 10 meters, you know. So also all this reality shifts within you a different approach naturally to cacao. Is like you start to understand these subtle languages of nature, codes of nature that can be hard to be described in a spoken language and words. You know, it's more like a process of feeling and yeah, energy. And so this will shift and probably unfold more into your life with clarity. Okay, I'm going to move a little bit to continue. And this is one of the reasons I really feel passionate to invite more people to come here and really have this experience. Okay, so for the process of cultivation, um, yeah, you harvest the cacao plants from the seeds. Ideally, there are some agriculture because yeah, cacao passes through a lot of diseases. At least the chuncho. They not sure how you say in English, yeah, but trying to do my best in translation. They do, yeah, they keep the little tree for like 1 year, and they combine it together to a mother tree. Let's say there's some of the practices that I found in the within the families of Chuncho agricultures. Okay, um, Yes, it's not. Yeah, it's a practice that I still want to comment on. Okay, you collect the cacao fruits from the trees when it's harvest time, and then you start opening the fruits and taking out the flesh of cacao, que se llama la baba de cacao. Here it's called the baba of cacao. Yeah, and then you can start a selection of the beans. You bring them all together, and then you have the fermentation process in wood containers that last from 5 to 7 days. They have the drying process under the sun, naturally dry, beautiful, activated by the sun energy. And then you have the roasting process that should not be higher than 95 degree Celsius. Ideally, the lower the better, for around, depends on the amount of cacao beans that are around like 15-20 minutes. Okay, you make the cacao paste. If it's a small, well, it's actually always it's a small batch production. You create it in, how do you say, in the moledor, in the stone, yeah, the piece of stone that you need to create the paste. I forgot the name in English. And then finally, under our cosmology, our understanding of what a ceremony cacao is, we do a blessing ceremony. Yeah. Um, this is what kind of, with the story of the process of making a cacao paste. We have the plantations that are certified organic. We also have the traceability of a fair trade product. Um, yeah, the growth of chuncho agriculture impulses the polyculture, no, of agriculture, la polyagricultura, no. Um, okay, and so coming back to the question, what makes a cacao ceremony like cacao? Under cacao's vision, we believe there are four main aspects to consider cacao as a ceremonial grade: native variety or original cacao variety, organic soil and cultivation. Maybe you have like fair trade standards that respects the agriculture incomes, the adequate, good quality of the paste in terms of, okay, there is the time for selecting the beans, time for doing the fermentation and for doing the roasting, and finally the aspect of really blessing and taking care of this cacao as a sacred energy, or as something, an element that is sacred. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take some water. Okay, so we mainly know ceremonies or cacao ceremonies thanks to the Mayan, um, um, yeah, sorry, thanks to the Mayan culture. Yeah, mainly the Mayan and their glifos, no, sus glifos, sus escritos, are of big inspiration to bring cacao into a ceremony space, bring cacao into a ritual space. In Peru, specifically on dance, or then South America is so big, I cannot really generalize, and it's not my studies there. In all South American regions, so I cannot generalize. I will talk about Cusco and Peru region. Um, yeah, we haven't. We don't find these glyphos. We don't find these books or papers. Yeah, it's a very oral culture as well, like mouth to mouth, or practice, not to practice. Um, but what we still find, or I personally found, um, and I understand that this is more natural in their, I mean, this makes sense, let's say, this makes sense, I said, is the offering they do, like some families of agricultors of cacao here, they did that beautiful offering made from the fresh flesh of the cacao, this white flesh that when you open the fruit, you have like this super bittersweet, como es agridulce, no? It's super tasty, this like natural flesh, and inside this flesh there's seed. They created this chicha de cacao. So they create like a juice mortar. They use their mortar, the stone mortar, and they let it there fermented for some days. But it's the same practice as the chicha, which is the corn fermented beverage still being drink here in all the Andean region. And so with this beverage, they approach to the cacao trees or to the cacao plantations or to the harvest season, depends, and they say, okay, they create a hole in the earth and they put it to the Pachamama, to the earth spirit, under the Indian cosmology, or under their own cosmology, but Pachamama is really strong. Pachamama is the mother of the universe, of the earth, of the one that, the mother of all of us. Yeah, and she gives us food every day, constantly. And so the agricultors come and they prepare this drink made by the fresh flesh of cacao, and they offer it. They offer it to the Pachamama, to the earth, and as kind of sharing more than asking, hey, I am preparing this just for a beautiful harvesting season, just for for your trees to have multiple fruits, that I can collect later. Yeah, and so this is the first example of embodiment, embodying an offering, and this is something we will learn in the course. I would like, as a facilitator, you need to embody the feeling of ofrendor, ofrendadora. Yeah, you give. That is the real energy frequency you need to align with when working with cacao, because it's, as mentioned before, it's like you open a cacao and it's like multiple seeds, right? Like it's connected also to our organs when we eat different types of fruits. At least it's believed here in Peru, and it's like good for your brain or good for your liver, and so the seeds are, it's really strongly connected to fertility, abundance. Okay, so yeah, and so interestingly, corn also has a relation with cacao in the Mayan, in the Mayan scripts. I'm not an expert in the Mayan tradition of cacao, but corn also is quite corn, coca, and then I will add cacao, but corn, coca mainly in the Inca cosmology is super important. Like corn represented again abundance as well, richness, earth connection. Coca, it's its own spirit. It's a opener to rituals, like the element to open doors, okay, or fields, or a portal to communicate with the natural elements, like as the mountains here. The mountain is like a super sacred, important element and in cosmology. Okay, and last but not least, what makes a cacao, a ceremonial cacao, is a blessing, no? So I'm saying this story about the chicha de cacao, because this symbolizes a tradition that we can learn from nowadays still here in Cusco. But then I will want to bring back the blessing. So in the past, just an offering was blessed, or it was intentional. So this is more my approach to what is blessing. And so in my personal path, I felt there is something missing. If I want to address myself to this cacao ceremonial, in this space there is something missing. Like, I know cacao agriculture has changed. It is not that we harvest cacao. So this is important. Okay, take notes. We don't harvest cacao to do cacao ceremonies. This is what the agriculture said. Okay, so an agriculture said, I don't know what is that. Okay, so, but beyond this, around this world, and in the past, this existed. Yeah, and you can tap and you can feel this, and therefore comes the presence of a community that practices still in their lives rituals, blessings, initiations in spirituality. Yeah, and all these practices are super strongly linked to nature. So this is the Quero Nation. But mom, let me introduce you to the Quero Nation, La Nación Quero from Cusco. And this is the last Ayu. They are called themselves the last community to have survived after the colonization period as the last descendants of the Inca Empire that were within this community. There are priests or pacos that are able to navigate the language of spirituality through the coca leaves and through their own teachings from nature elements. Okay, but what they practice still is a lot of rituals in where they invoke the elements are sacred elements under their cosmology, and they offer it to the earth for a purpose, for an intention. So again, intention is key, okay, and embodying a ritual. And so since they are here and they are present, I wanted to invite them into the reality of cacao, because cacao also grows here and also coca grows here. The fact is that they don't actually use cacao, and it was like a very beautiful introduction with me. I was telling the story and serving them cacao, and I could see the alchemy in between these two plants in them. It's beautiful. Okay, and so just to close this aspect is like the importance of tradition of not really of memory, memory. Like I can remember and thank the universe that this last Ayu was preserved, right? They have enlightened us with so much beauty and hope, and just their energy field of the back was really beautiful. It's really peaceful, and this energy, I decided to bring it to Caucao, to the base. So, to these blessings for activating the energy of cacao. And yeah, people who have like interacted with this pace and ceremonies, they have told me, or in their lives, they told me like, wow, this is something different. So it's all about energy. Energy comes from rituals, comes from understanding this, practicing it, living it later in life. Because the ritual is more experience. It's not more. It's not something about the head, about the structure. Again, very feminine, very flowy, very spiritual. And this is why I personally feel so inspired by the origin of cacao in Monte Grande in the psychological side. I was talking in the beginning because the natural flow of cacao in your body, in your life, is very magical. Like this is a spiral. It's like it has cycles, it has phases, but it gives you the ability to flow and to create in this flow without any restriction or without any demand real of structure. Okay. Okay. So chapter number 5. Oh my God, I'm going to get really quickly under chapter number 5, 6, and 7. Forms to prepare cacao. Chapter number 5. Chapter number 6. Cacao is a sacred food and a superfood. I believe most of you know this chapter, so I'm going to go there quickly. And then the traditional shamanic cacao ceremonies, or traditional, or let's say, what is a cacao ceremony in the traditional field of shamanism? What is ancestral? What is the Peruvian mission under this? Because shamanism is a word that is a lot used, and I just want, in this course, I wanted to have a space to dialogue about this, to have a dialogue about this. Nowadays, and thanks to my experiences, how can I share with you my experiences in the Andean and the Amazon regions, or the Andean and the Amazon worlds, which still, it's okay. I'm going to go there. And then finally, how to hold space with the cacao from cacao. I just developed some guidelines for you to hold space. And believe it or not, there are so many key little details that when I wrote this down, I was amazed, because my first client who did the course with me, she was like, "Oh my God, I took this for granted. I took this for granted, and so it's really, it's really important to have a little time to really focus on these small details that just create or make the difference in the creation of um, a cacao sharing in a ritual or a cacao connection, okay, a connection with the beverage of cacao in a circle or the beverage of cacao in this workshop, you know? So just for you to mention as a facilitator. Okay, so there are two ways, let's say more, of course, but two approaches and the directions for to have cacao in your lives. Um, for ceremonies or your own rituals, with group or with yourself, first it's important if you want to share this. Yes, share it from your heart. It's great. Why sharing from your heart? Go into under your intuition, okay? Tap into your heart. But a lot of people have problems really with connecting with their heart fields. And but if you want to share it with the group, then start with yourself first. And then there are other paths for daily consumption. You know, you want to just have cacao more present in your life and start integrating that. Okay, you don't need to do a whole ceremony every day for this, but it's more just a daily practice with intention. Okay, so for ceremonies, elements are key. Please, please, please find a good quality of water, not only for ceremony, for your life. Activate your water. There's so many ways to do it. Like first the quality of your water. Like you use plastic. Don't use plastic, please. Um, you can have some crystals. You have some stones that activate my water, for example. You can chant, activate the water. Water is a life element, and it was brought from the rivers, okay, or from the lakes even, or from the glaciers, to in the past to create this, um, to have medicinal plants into a river. So good water for ceremonies, water for your life. Natural elements, knife, wooden knife, or a ceramic knife. I have a wooden knife. Use clay or natural pots to cook your cacao. Don't use aluminium, please. I beg you, don't. Don't buy. Find some ceramic. No mixer. We don't need that mixer. We haven't need a mixer for the past 5,000 years. It's fine. We'll live. Yeah. Okay. We just sometimes we live in such a fast world speed. It's not necessarily. And then the ritualization, just bring your own inspiration to this. So this can come from flowers, roses, candles, sages, palo santo. Only if you're in Peru or South America, please. Or use your own herbs down in your garden, rosemary, sage, wherever you can find. This is for ceremonies. For your daily consumption, just start creating your own altar. Small, maybe you start with a candle and a rose or a little flower, and then within you work with yourself and your rituals, and therefore your beautiful cacao in your life and beverage, you will start developing this naturally. Trust me. So maybe start with just good water as well. Okay, to take cacao in a daily consumption. Have your altar or your space in your house, or also can be nature. Nature is just amazing. And just dedicate a little time of connection there, of love. And then intentioning. Set your intention. Set a direction for your day. And remember this during the day, in the afternoon, at night. Remember. And you can repeat this or you can work it in 21 days, for example. 21 days are real time for transformation. And so for ceremonies, there's many ways to alchemize your cacao beverage, but I use mainly, and I have learned also during the time to just be simple. Um, in this specific course, in this line where we connect cacao and coca, I add cacao, coca, and water, good water. Yeah, if you want to be more into, if you want to alchemize, you can do it. You can have from bovine sana drops to San Pedro tincture to hibiscus tincture to rose oil. Rose, I love that though. Rose, rose flowers. You can also use lion's mane mushroom powder or turkey tail mushroom powder, which is so good for the brain, and it's already studied that, and or maca, also for issues related to your cycle or hormones if you're a woman. So you can add into your beverage. It's not mandatory. It's not necessary. It's just in your flow. Okay. Okay. And so a good cacao, a good source cacao. Again, this is why I'm telling you it's good to acknowledge where your cacao comes from, which variety you are working with. Please, who are the farmers, which region, what is the climate, what is the altitude. Why? Because then if you have a good quality of these beans, of these cacaos, then you will have a good quality of benefits. Magnesium, vitamin C, all the vitamins, the real vitamins that a good cacao has, really. Okay. Okay, so for the recipe, you need to access for the course. I really want to open this course in a live sessions for at least 6 weeks. I would say it would be nice to meet up and really unfold this course with you, livingly, and so I can, at some point, some keynotes on certain chapters that I'm doing it right now. Then cacao is a sacred food and it's a superfood. This is what I'm saying. Cacao is so rich in B-complex vitamins, minerals such as zinc, iron, calcium, copper. It is a natural aphrodisiac. Yeah, it enhances our sensual energy, our sexual energy. It's like super feminine boost. It raises serotonin and stimulates endorphins in our body. So what is a serotonin? A lot of people tell me, why is that I feel so joyful and like so happy? Because serotonin is a neurotransmitter that relates to positivity or to positive mood states and emotions, no? And endorphins are also natural substances created by the brain that relieve pain and give a good sensation to the body. And so when we take cacao, endorphins and serotonin raise within us, are raised, by the presence of this beautiful plant. Therefore, cacao is the best antidepressant. Therefore, cacao is like, you're sad, take a cup of hot cacao, of hot chocolate. This is what it said. So, chocolate and cacao, we're going there. We're going there. And then cacao is a sacred food. Okay, this is like cacao as a superfood. A lot of investigations on the components and elements of what cacao has that makes us so good and so happy. And then cacao is a sacred food. Yeah. Okay, cacao was used as a medicinal plant. Along so many plants that existed in the Amazon. The heart is, the intelligence of the cacao plant by the ancient civilization is that it has an effect in our bodies, in our spirits. It lifts up our spirits, okay? So cacao really works in the heart, which means it creates a wave of expansion here in this part of our body or in all our body. Yeah, and our heart starts to beat up faster as well because it gets stimulated. And so why is so important the heart then? Because the heart is the center of wisdom. Yeah, energetically, the heart, the organ of the heart, is the vital force we need to live. Yeah, without the heart beating, we won't live, we would be dead. It's the end of the story. And so when a plant really connects with that part, it's unbelievably sacred and powerful. Yeah, and so the heart also is the place of wisdom and the source of love. And love is the most energetical energy and the most powerful energy that exists. Therefore, also cacao helps us over the growth of our intuition. Okay, no, I'm not going to see outside. I'm going to see inside myself, inside my heart. It's in the past it was a synonym of abundance. It was also related to gold, very powerful. It's an amplifier. It acts as an amplifier, brings yeah, pleasure and joy for sure. Like even the transformation from cacao to chocolate, right? That space of pleasure we live in when we drink our hot cacao or we have a little bit of good chocolate. And yeah, it is believed to be the food of the gods, no? That that name only, or mm, that addressing something powerful. Um, because I mean, imagine, okay, so let's come back to the past, where cacao was offered as the seeds, at least here, like very near my house. Even there are findings where cacao beans, along with coca leaves, along with other Andean seeds, were found in a specific place and direction as an offering. Yeah. Okay. So why it's called food of the gods and how is this related? Because the offering, you're offering to the sun, you're offering to this mountain, you're offering to the river, the waters. They are the gods. Okay. They're also the gods within us. It also exists. So it's this beautiful circle again of spiral that connects us with all inside us and outside us. Okay. So imagine that this ritualization of giving the seed, because this is like the best I can give you. This is the food for you. Sun, mountain, water, yeah, and due to all these properties, cacao also gives us strength, okay, and determination and focus also. But yeah, it's super rich in nutrients. This is something that you will always remember. A good source, high quality cacao will be super rich for your blood, will be super rich for your health. And so again, right, to the holistic approach, it's like emotional, physical, and spiritual. These bodies are one at the end. But yeah, you need to acknowledge the layers. So in my course, I leave some homeworks. I'm happy to guide you if you are interested to do. But the homework is why I leave some homeworks, because the intention is for you to embody the practice. It's not something I learn and then buy. It's not something I do a course and buy. Honestly, it's like a commitment to experience this field of activation with the cacao tree. Okay. So you can envision the cacao spirit. You can connect in with the cacao tree, then start practicing the offerings. How and when and where, yeah. Invite you to my course. Okay, then the names of cacao goddesses in ancient in different cultures, and so you can acknowledge this to help you in your invocations. And this after my practice with the Carol lineage, that we invoke so many deities in these three worlds that they live in, or we all live in. It's so powerful in the line. You have Ish Cacao, you have Cacao, you have Quetzalcoatl, you have Exua, you have Caucaue, you have different names. And then, okay, cacao ceremonies, and then the Peruvian or the ancestral dignitaries from the Andes and Amazon. Okay, what is really shamanic? Okay, what is this term? Why is it used to cacao rituals? Is there a shaman of cacao? This is a space more for dialogue. Yeah, so it's going to be hard to really explain this here. I just love it in my course to have circles and connect. Like a shamanism. The concept is like refers to experience in which energy is shifted through certain energy activations. Yeah, and this is all assisted by the wisdom or the presence of certain plants, prayers, chants, cleansings, invocations, etc. But this is the main what shamanic holds. Yeah, what shamanic refers to. So again, this part addresses at the fact that the traditional cacao ceremony in Peru doesn't exist, maybe hasn't really ever existed, or like with a specific recipe I am referring to. Yeah. Um, this means that if you come here and you really want to find your shaman of cacao, you might not find it. You might have practices within indigenous communities that, yes, they use cacao. They use also cacao, for example, in the Matoyato region that I lastly visited and connected with through a presentation they had in one gallery here. Um, they said, yes, cacao is used. They have this beautiful story that cacao was used for memory. And the Manchigenga tribe, Matoyata is really connected to this tribe. They use the skin of the cacao seeds to smoke, to sage. Okay, but this doesn't really apply to, okay, this is the script for a ceremony of cacao. No, but they are. And then the chicha of cacao that I've told you before. Okay, there's not such thing, a specific ritual of cacao. But there's present in many indigenous communities. And so why I'm addressing this because this part of the part of the wisdom that I've obtained, and I'm doing this course project and yeah, sharing this cacao facilitator training, is that all these, well, not all, part of these came through a self-directed learning practice, research, investigation, and experience. Yeah, and so I gather all these elements together, and this is how I can tell you, okay, this is a path you can follow to connect cacao under this cosmology, under this perspective. Okay, that is, yeah, mostly connected to, as I was saying, other cultures, practices, other indigenous cultural practices that can be applied to a cacao ceremony. Yeah, and yeah, this is it, my beautiful offering. And so all the what I'm teaching here is, and like all the wisdom that I receive here, all the teaching that I'm sharing with you here is comes from the teachings that I received by my teachers in the jungle or in the Andes for the past 5 years. You know. Okay, so we go to the Andean world shortly, and then we'll go to the Amazon world, and we will start closing this. Andean world, we have three worlds. Yeah, forget about it. I was so disconnected about with this when I just came here. I had no idea, but something energetically brought me to Cusco. I know this, like I felt it. I'm originally from Lima, for not the ones if I didn't present or say this at the beginning of the course. Um, and so I moved because I always felt dragged to the energy here, because I felt, wow, this is such an ancient place. There's so many ancient elements. I'm like, my soul thrived, no, here. So I need to discover. And so with the years, I started to work with the Pacos, with the priests. Um, Actually, more for my own personal energy. It was like more for cleansing, unblocking my field of energy. But then the more I did it, the more I stepped closer to the understanding of their cosmology. So basically, they live under three worlds. And the Ukupacha, the Kaipacha, and the Hanakpacha, underworld, present world, world of the gods or the deities, the high divinity. And these worlds are also connected to specific spiritual animals and elements that activate these portals of ceremony and rituals. Okay, so you have the serpent, the puma, the condor, the most known trilogy of these three worlds. And there's still many people here in Cusco and in other regions that remember about this. But remember that all Peru and all South America were colonized, and then the Catholic religion came and basically destroyed most of this ancient indigenous cosmology. You know, so there is like a blend sometimes that you can find communities that practice this and mixed with Catholicism. And then in these worlds, or in this Indian world, you find a coca leaf, and also in the Muslim, you also use a coca leaf for chewing it and to start ceremony with. Okay, so and this part of the chapter is key. The coca presence, the coca leaf. What is the coca? No, it's and this again another similarity, key similarity here. Um, the history from cacao to chocolate, from the past to the modern times, last 200 years for the chocolate industry. And again, the origin of the coca leaf plantations or the coca leaf elements and utilization to the modernity as a drug, synthesized drug in laboratory to do what, right? To create all this narco traffic, all this so destructive state of being. So again, it's so funny how these two plants that they have coexisted and grown up together from the place of origin, from the same earth, from the same land, probably have shifted so much in the past years. Okay, so who is the coca leaves? What is the quinto? Who is the coca mama? Again, the pagos, the priests, say to the coca, Mama Cuca, no? And so it's again a mother. It's again a feminine deity. It's again connected to Pachamama. Okay, so it's a element of protection that is motherly, yeah, and it is used for goodwill and as a tool for offerings, but also as an activator, as we say, it has a lot of alkaloids. If you chew the coca leaves, it helps you. It keeps your mind focused because of all the alkaloids and stimulants it has. It's like the food that has the most alkaloids in all the food chain. Really, it's a miracle again. It's something so precious, so unique, and it's only legal, unfortunately, in Peru and Bolivia. Yeah, and so the coca leaf, the quinto in these ritual practices of offerings are needed to open the ritual and to open the doors. Also when you do a visit to a sacred mountain, there's one key element of embodiment and wisdom. It's the asking permission for. You need to ask permission. But this will come in time within you, within your soul field. Yeah, and then you use the coca actually to ask permission, and you blow them. It's your breath that is connected to coca as a messenger to the other spirits of the mountain or the higher spirits of the higher world to listen. Yeah, so this is why it's such a important element in the rituals. It's a medium itself to connect from one state to the other, or from one reality to the other, or between two persons or more, no, or two elements. So because it can be a person and a natural element. So coca is magical and important here. It's connected to that Andean trilogy of animals and worlds, right? The three leaves. You need to grab the best three leaves that you can find and practice that as offering. And so in my teachings, I combine coca leaves with cacao seeds. You again find the similarity coca and cacao. Coca and cacao. Okay, remember they grow together. They still grow together, but a lot of places where coca was harvested now, you find cacao plantations because of this law of diminishing the production of coca due to narco traffic. Okay, then we have another symbol that is key in the ritualization of coca, and then if you want to apply this to cacao, we will apply this. This is the key path, okay, for understanding. Okay, that's the, you know, when you are following, there's no shamanism, there's no teacher or a healer that can guide me into what a ceremony of cacao is, but we can apply the teachings from these other communities to cacao, embody in these other realities, symbols, elements, and deities, yeah? These rituals specifically. So the Chacana cross is another great symbol that will guide us into a deeper understanding of our own ceremonial field. The Chacana is basically a representation of north, south, west, used to direct our energy towards the world. Yeah, and so um, it has, I don't know if you have seen it, but it's like a star that connects to the high world and to the underworld, to all the worlds. Yeah, it's a portal of connection. Yeah, it's above and underground world. It's like it's a light of the Andes. Yeah, and represents also the four elements of the four weather stations. Yeah, it is an element that unify us as humans vertically and horizontally with everything in our existence. And in the center, it is believed that Pachamama lives. Also, a symbolism that we are in the center of this cross as a circle, again as a spiral. Actually, in the Andean cosmology, the Pachamama symbolism is a spiral shape. Yeah, and again, back to the origin of cacao, what is the shape that where it was found in Monte Grande in this archaeological site, the spiral. So, feminine, feminine activation there. And the chacana has been found in so many different places here in the Incas. Nowadays, still they use it, which is beautiful to see chacanas in the floor, in decoration, everywhere. So it's a big ritual element in altars. Um, and then, well, other great sacred elements in the world are the ray, the sun, the moon, the gold, the silver, the corn, the llama. Some of the Pacons also call in some of the Inca sovereigns, no? Um, the Koya, the wife of the god, also the creator of the empire, the Mama Okyo, the Chaska, the stars, the rainbow, yeah. Okay, and then coming back another now to the other world, the Amazon. Um, the Amazon, the Amazon is just another territory that is completely different. It's much more humid, tropical, biodiverse, and here you can find mm, most of the plants that are used for healing, right? So you can find from ayahuasca to tobacco to manzana, floretoe, uña de gato, guairuro, and like, I don't know, an amount of medicinal plants with over 200 varieties. You know, so it's super diverse. It's beautiful. Like, yeah, it's another world you would love to see. It's such a wilderness. It's astonishing. Um, and so mainly what I want to address in this chapter is the ayahuasca practice. There is a lot of other um, practices with other entheogenic plants or psychoactive plants. But then ayahuasca is mostly the most probably famous. But then again, in the rituals and the spaces rituals of original healers and of original communities, you, for example, what I learned, this is also can be applied to cacao, is you diet a plant. Yeah, you diet a plant to be in ceremony. Nowadays, it has been so much commercialized. It has been taken so much out of context. Really, honestly, I heard all my readings about this after all my own in-person investigations, asking the shamans, both women and men. Sometimes I'm like, okay, why, why is this happening? I used to get a bit upset about these misuses of ayahuasca, but then that's also quite beneficial for the human existence. So it's such an awakening, such a powerful soul awakener. And so you can face your own traumas with much more clarity. And it's used for expansion, mainly. Okay, as any other sacred plant, but in such a higher and potent way. But so what I was saying in the beginning is that healer a maestro, maestra from ayahuasca, from this approach, had received this wisdom also through nature, but also through the grandmother or grandfather, can be both reasons. But then they have also grown this own experience with this plant, and they have also gone through so much knowledge around their lives because they live surrounded by these worlds of more like nature, and therefore they have created this. They have gone through or under this dieta or specific, relation and just lifestyle in order to receive the deeper wisdom of this plant. Yeah, and so something that could be applied, for example, from cacao for cacao from this is the dieta, the preparation, how you need to prepare to receive something. Yeah, it's very inspiring for me as well. It's like cut out everything. You just need to be neutral within your food and your life. Have a bath of flowers. Which flowers? To clean your energy field, to clean your brain, to clean your heart, skin. And also they use coca to initiate the ceremonies. The coca leaves. The coca leaves are very present. You start tuning into. It's not like these fast ceremonies of 2 hours, 1 hour. It's not measured on time. Like time and space then became relative, no? And this is something much more spiritual field, but this is the energy, the natural energy the ancient sacred plants have. Okay. Of course, the science and investigations are such a good input on this. Of course, I'm 100% both science and myth, science and practice. Um, and so, yeah, the other elements that I was saying is this tobacco and coca. Tobacco is used again to clean the environment, to clean yourself, as much as it has a more masculine approach. Also, in the Mayan or in the more Mexican or Mesoamerican cultures also has this approach, and it was used. So you can see the journey of cacao as well, of tobacco, and the presence of these cacao, coca, tobacco, flower bath, to be applying to this circle of ritual, right? And then these ceremonies are mostly known that so ayahuasca is like a liana, no? It's like this plant that has like it's like a, I don't know how do you say, this long stick. Yeah, and then you need a complement that is called chacruna, that actually is the one that activates the dimethyltryptamine, the dimethyltryptamine component, DMT, no, that ayahuasca has, and then this creates like a psychoactive reaction in your brain, and therefore your soul is uplifted. Is what the healer says, or what the maestro says of ayahuasca, no. And so it's intended to heal the spirit, or mostly that intent is to reawaken the spirit to start remember their past visuals. And so the maestro or the maestra guides these through the singing and through their own language of the ceremony. Yeah, and this is, I cannot really be more conceptual about this. It's just how this is the natural approach of the ayahuasca ceremony. And so these singings are called Icaros. This is they have a specific intention. There are specific Icaros for specific parts, for family, for healing, for water, for beautifying. And these singings guide you in your own experience and your own. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's, yeah. If you have the opportunity, if you feel the call, please, I would advise you to find a good original place where this drink is served. And so one person experiences visions, experiences sensations in their body field, in both physical and spiritual field, in the mind. Um, the serpent as well is one of the big deities in the ayahuasca ceremony cosmology, yeah, or perspective. Invocation, shamanic singing, the use of elements like leaves, feathers, you know, are also included for protection, for guidance. So all these you can be inspired to apply as instance into a cacao ceremony. Okay, but also remember that these communities are really close to natural elements fields. So you can practice this in your wherever you are in your environment. And clean diet as well can be an inspiration for your approach to cacao. Okay. Then finally, we're closing this with how to hold space with cacao from Cacao, and then the responsibilities we need to have to as facilitators, and also my own experiences to and wisdom as for sharing cacao as a plant in rituals and circles, or as a medicine plant, or as chocolate. So one thing I was missing is like the concept of chocolate and cacao is just two different vibrations. Please use cacao for more holistic approach, and then use chocolate mainly for the product and chocolate. Um, so yeah, when you start this, well, in the course you will receive the cacao paste or cacao block to start working with it. I would advise for you to start practicing your connection with nature, with your altar, and adding maybe some um, elements that connect you with cacao in your daily life space. Yeah, aligning yourself also a balanced lifestyle, like not overloading more work, and also not doing anything, but just find aligned time with also the sun and the moon. And then now I talk about the altar setting and preparation for a ceremony. Create your altar. There's some more homework to do to embody this. How you should dress up. Something that once my teacher told me about holding a ceremony, and I remember I called him um, Maestro Ruben. So I have Maestro Raúl from the Cacao Nation, Maestro Ruben, Maestra Maria Pasa, and Maestro Manuel, who is the son. Maria Pasa is the oldest woman and priest. No, is the oldest priest. Sorry, that is a woman in the Cacao Nation, but it's the only one being woman or man, Altomisayok. Yeah, after her, there's no more Altomisayoks in the Cacao Nation lineage, and I have um, the privilege, the honor to really work with her and to learn from her. And so, but coming back to one day I was like really overwhelmed by something happened to me in my personal field. And I remember I called and I met my Maestro Ruben. And that day, no, the following day, I had a ceremony to give a cacao ceremony for a group of persons that were here in Cusco. And then he told me at the end, you need to align yourselves whether you know this. It'll take you some time, but in the ceremony, remember you are the light for the others. You need to shine, okay? You are responsible for that. You need to shift everything because in a ceremony space, you are the star, you are the chasca. And yeah, of course I understood it, but in the embodying, the practicing is something different, right? And so I really need to remove these blocks within your body or your emotions to embody this um, figure of a star. And this is something I want to address in the guidelines of how to hold space as a facilitator, and for example, if you're a woman, if you're a man, as a cacao guardian, almost. So really take your time to dress up and just create your space, have a ceremonial dress code, use or choose certain elements for your altar, Also, if you're a woman, you know the importance of using a ceremonial sash to protect your womb, or your, if you're a man, your belly button energy, your middle energy. Yeah, and the leadership of the ceremony, almost like related to what my instructor once said about becoming a star. And I give some examples and pictures of the elements that you would need. And then the preparation of the cacao ceremony, which honestly lasts about in total 3 to 4 hours. Like, you know, you start cleansing yourself, you start preparing the cacao, you start preparing the water, you start preparing the altar, you start, if you have support, of course you can do it in 2 or 3 or more. Beautiful. Just find a balance. You are the holder space, no? Again, you're as the stars holding the space, or enlightening, or providing light to the others. And yeah, and then you have to have accountability for what happened, can happen to the participants of the group. Preparation of the cacao paste into a ceremonial beverage. I recommend here certain guidelines. Um, the ceremonial dosage is 35 grams around per cup, and or divided into 2 servings of cacao for each participant. And so it's basically 4 tablespoons with 250 milliliters of water, and then you start from small to more with the dosages to the participants. Okay, align yourself with time as well. And yeah, usually I love to do full moon and new moon ceremonies because it's such a natural day in my calendar. It feels so aligned with cacao. And I usually love to do it at night. I don't, I think I done it one time daily, no, some few times in the daily time, but mostly I feel personally the message to do the ceremonies at night. Um, or when the sun, while the sun sets. Um, okay, finally, you have all these guidelines that I give to you about how, like, you know, okay, how to open the ceremony, what to talk about, what can you address for, and here, since you have all the information provided, you can talk about the origins of cacao, where this cacao comes from, how it was used in the ancient civilization, which civilizations, and where, no, what is the music I want to listen to. Um, you can be very inspired by natural element music. It's beautiful, or more tribal sounds as well. Um, yeah, create your space, you know, really clean your space, know where you're going to be sitting or move. But at the end, as the ceremony develops, it's very, very flowy. It's rather static. It's not. And then, you know, try to specify your words and terms into what you are really addressing to, not hot chocolate, for example. No, and really remembering that this is like a cacao circle or cacao gathering, or yeah, find what works for you. Um, you can also share the benefits and effects of cacao. So you, as a facilitator, the space holder, and as a ceremonialist, you are the wise person people want to admire. And this is also how is the wisdom of cacao is passing from. No, okay. And then I share with you some guided meditations I wrote down that connects us with our hearts or with our soul fields to opening any blockage that we have within us. So share that written way. You can use it, or you can even create your own guided meditation, your own song, for example, to cacao. And so mostly in the middle part of the ceremony, you find this activation. Yeah, you find this ritual natural activation that cacao activates within everybody of the participants chemically, like naturally chemically. You find all this serotonin being released in the bodies and the brains, and so you will start feeling the energy. Yeah, and this is where you can shift or direct the intention of the ceremony to a specific theme or subject. You can use, there are some actually elements for musicalization. The chacapa, the feathers are really useful. The maracas, or yeah, the the feathers, the condor feathers, for example, are I personally use. Um, okay, and then you can also activate your voice as a facilitator. You know, sing a song you have created or use your drum. And then the final part of the ceremony will be the closing part. You know, really important to close something to open and to close, and then you have the middle part, which is, as I recently said, the most high in energy part. Okay, and then close consciously without any rush, and yeah, connect. Connect. Cacao is about connection and union. Don't forget. You can use the chakana, and you can use the spiral symbology to guide you instinctivamente. I address this more deeply in the course. And so the chakana, as I mentioned, it has connected to the five elements actually. So you find a lot of inspiration there to apply to the ceremony of cacao, and then you will be accountable for the responsibilities of the ceremonies, no? And yeah, make sure, you know, if you have a participant prescribed antidepressants, how to address this, go from be honest, no? Be like, start to really care the history of and context where this practitioner is coming from. Um, Create a follow-up, maybe questionnaire or relationship. Um, Create your own community. Yeah, as a facilitator, you will create your own community if you are sharing the cacao in circles. This is one of the main recommendations is also to integrate to integrate this experience into your life after the ceremony is concluded. Okay. For example, if you have people who take anticoagulant medication, you should decrease the percentage of grams. If you have a pregnant woman, you also need to address how she feels. In kids, you can also start from a low dosage. And if you have heart blood pressure condition, actually cacao is not restricted. And finally, well, how I can conclude this with my own experience and wisdom. It's basically a summary of many things that I mentioned already, but I think personally that it's something that I would love to address here on this masterclass is that working with cacao consistently creates, yeah, creates the real change, creates the real transformation, the shift and the connection. Yeah, and in that field of connection is where the wisdom um, is written. Okay, so be consistent on consuming cacao consciously through the beans, through the pace, through the approach to the origin of cacao cultivation, and this just is the biggest opener of really understanding the path of cacao. And then there is another field of self-directed learning wisdom, right? When you really go into the field of experience. This is also another key point that I would like to mention. And also, it's aligned to lifestyle, right? I believe this is the path of transformation I was talking about earlier. It's like you cannot really drink cacao and then overconsume sweets or something like similar, right? It's like very holistic lifestyle that will appear. And so, yeah, this is the last part of the course. Ideally, on this course, you will embody the presence of the cacao in your life under all these cultural cosmologies that we have seen. One of the main, of the most important is the coca leaves, and how they gather together to be applied into these containers, into these spaces with these certain directions. So I hope you have enjoyed. And yeah, if you have further interest into knowing this and to embodying this and to experience this and to living this in real life, check out the website of Cacao, and then sign up or subscribe for the newsletter where I release all the news there about the upcoming retreats we have in 2025, and also this course that will be released soon and announced soon as well as part of a group that want to take it. Okay, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Fiorella, and this is Cacao, and all the love from Cusco to you.